All right. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. Let me just before I begin, let me just thank you years, and I just thank you for that. And it's often said, but it can't be said enough that uh, you're going to see people in heaven that you never met, but they're going to be there because of your support and prayers, and that's what it's all about. Everybody can't do it all, but we're all doing it the Lord's way. Boy, we can do a whole lot. And so I just want to thank you for that. I am Bud Dillahunty. I'm sent out by Flatwoods Baptist Church up in Mountain View, Arkansas. We live in Texarkana now. A couple things I'm involved in is primarily the pro-life work and human trafficking prevention and rescue. That's standing out on the sidewalk. Now, doesn't that young man look inviting and just calm and things like that? We stand out on the sidewalk of abortion facilities and just try to, we are, when you're, obviously you see the sign we're holding, that's not the type of people you see on the news. The ones that make the news are those that hold up the ugly signs and they holler at the girls. The women go, I say girls because I'm at that age now, they're all girls, but the young ladies going in. We realize, I'm with a group called Sidewalk Advocates, they're the one who trained me. We realize that, when a girl walks into an abortion facility, we are the last voice they hear before they walk in. And I'm just, I've just made it my life mission that the last, words they hear from me is, hopefully words of love, compassion, and hope. And so that's what we do outside of the sidewalk. Now, a lot of things have changed because of Roe versus Wade being overturned. You have the picture of that map? Okay. You see, I don't know if you can see this, but the blue states are where, now abortion's illegal. And thank the Lord for that. Roe versus Wade was overturned. But you see, I don't know if you can see those red arrows. This is where the states, we call it, the blue states is the abortion free here, but the blue politically states, you see where they are going. New Mexico, Colorado, up to Kansas and things like that, where this is where people are traveling for abortions now. And so just because abortion is illegal in Arkansas and in Tennessee doesn't mean women are not getting abortions. They are. Many times now, even though it's against the law, they can get the abortion pill mailed to them. Even in a red state like we're in, it's against the law, but you have a group that kills babies, breaking the law ain't no big deal to them. And so that's what we see. And so I was going down to Shreveport quite a bit, but that facility closed. And last year I made a lot of trips to New Mexico. Some of the abortion facilities in Texas, they all closed, but some of them moved to New Mexico. And so there are women who drive from Dallas and Houston 13, 14 hours to New Mexico, to Albuquerque, or other side of El Paso for abortions. And so I was just really burdened. I had a lot of people in New Mexico I dearly love. And they're just being overwhelmed. And I always said, Lord, if the opportunity arises, I would love to go and just help them by standing on the sidewalk, encourage them to do what I can. But I didn't feel good about going out there while I was going to Shreveport facility a lot. Well, when it closed down last year, I don't know how many trips to New Mexico. I stay out there a week at a time. I was able to do that because of churches like you that support. And you can say what you want about Texans, but we're a tenacious bunch. And so I'll stand on the sidewalk. And by the way, there was a facility in San Antonio, Texas, an abortion facility called Alamo Women's Health Care. Now, as a Texan, that makes me mad to know but that's what they moved to New Mexico, and that's what it's called. And so I stand on the sidewalk there, and it was all brand new, and I was the only one out there for a long time. To some of the other people in Albuquerque, were able to do it because they were just overwhelmed by 3 or 4 new facilities. And I stand out there and I got a T-shirt on that says Texas. I got a cap on somehow to make that connection. And you say, well, that's just ridiculous. No, it's not, because when I see them pull up with Texas plates or I see them get out of an Uber, I know they have flown in to get an abortion. And I just said, hey, I'm from Texas too. I'm from Texarkana, and I come all the way out here. And we had some people who chose life for the simple reason, I try to tell them that, I know that God loves you because there's no accident that I'm a Texan and I'm here, you're a Texan and you're here. I'm here for a reason, and I don't pretend to know the mind of God, but I know there's no coincidences when you're trying to follow God. And so we did have some babies that were saved, and so thank the Lord for that. But they're just being overwhelmed by that. I haven't been able to go back this year because of cancer and all the treatment and things I'm going through, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But tomorrow when I leave here, I'm headed up to Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'll be up there for a week and a half. They're visiting churches. The Association of Churches up there, their meeting next weekend or next week, and I'll be there for that. But I'll be in Grand Rapids, and I'll be assisting them, my friends there on the sidewalk. And the good news is some pastors from our sister churches in the Michigan area are going to be with me on the sidewalk. And so I'm hoping to, the main reason I got in this ministry doing this is I wanted to teach our churches. Our churches are dying, but we're surrounded by people, and our people are hurting. And if this is just one ministry that I can help a church get on board with, that they can better minister their community, not only can we save babies, but we want to put them in a position for the Lord to save their soul. And so I'm looking forward to that. So certainly pray for that. Since I've been doing this sidewalk stuff really full time since 2020, this thing called COVID, did y'all have that here? Was that something here? Anyway, everything was closed down except the abortion facility, so I just started doing it full time. Another pastor friend of mine in Shreveport, we've had about 70, 75 babies we've saved from abortion. That's in Shreveport, Albuquerque, and some of the other states that I've visited in the last several years as part of this ministry. And so I'm just thankful for that. And not only I'm thankful that the babies are saved, but I've been able to pray with multitudes of more women. We share the gospel with them. We have a bag that we hand out with them with local resources, but also we have gospel tracts in there. And so I'm just thankful to be a part of that. And so, and let me give you one more picture of the guy. All right, this is outside of abortion. This is an older picture, a couple years ago. That's outside of an abortion facility in South Carolina. This is the escort, the abortion facility escorts. They're the ones that, they walk on the sidewalk in the parking lot to try to drown us out. When women pull into the parking lot, they crowd them, so and try to block them with umbrella and stuff, so we can't have any contact with them. By the way, they're all pro-choice, but they don't want to give these women a choice to choose life. But anyway, I just want to see. This is some of the things that, because on the sidewalk, I'm telling you, I've been cussed out. I don't know how many times I've had things thrown at me. I had somebody throw empty Chick-fil-A packets at me one day. Throwing the Lord's merchandise at me. I don't understand that, but we get told we're number one and everything else, and so but this to show you, this is and I don't show this to make you mad. I hope it makes you mad, but to how to pray for these people. I believe God can save anyone. If He didn't, then we're all wasting our time. But this is a fetus cider smoothie, fetus, short for fetus. Vanilla yogurt, 1 apple, apple cider, tablespoon of honey, teaspoon of cinnamon nutmeg, 1/3 cup fetal remains. Blend all with ice and enjoy. That's someone given over to a reprobate mind right there. That is all that is. And as angry as that makes me, all I can do is pray for them. God loves them. And so that's what we deal with there. I had someone in Albuquerque last year. I saw him walking up, and a stranger walks up to you on the sidewalk outside of an abortion facility. Rarely are they there for a visit, a friendly visit anyway. But I could tell by the way they were dressed, it was a guy, transgender guy, and wanting to be a woman. And he came up and just began yelling at me and cussing at me about how he, I'm stopping these girls and getting an abortion. No, I'm not. I'm offering choices. I mean, I've learned that there's a difference between arguing and have a conversation, and I get tired of arguing as much as I like to argue. But he wasn't there to have a conversation. He just went on and on and on about choice. He says, I'm going to, when I get pregnant, I'm going to have an abortion, and you can't stop me. And I said, well, he said, I said, well, you're a guy. Well, that was the wrong thing to say, and he just kept saying, he's going to be able to get pregnant and he has a right to get an abortion. I said, well, you're a guy, and he just wanted to, and finally, just to hush him up, I said, you know what? I said, when you get pregnant, I'll support whatever decision you want to make. Well, he's pregnant. He's a guy, obviously. And when that kind of calmed him. Not say calmed him down. It shut him up, because I think he realized just how ignorant that was, and he cussed me out and walked off. And so this is what we deal with. This is the world that we live in, and these are the people like this that, or sadly, they're taking over our universities. This mindset is getting into our public schools. This mindset's making the laws in our nation. What do? We do what God's called us to do. There's no better plan, and so thank the Lord for that. Another thing I'm involved in Pathway is in Texarkana is Pathway Resource Center. It's a nonprofit group we started in 2020, and again, when everything was shut down, we were starting a nonprofit group. And really, it's Pathway Resource Center, and that's what we wanted to be. We wanted to be resources for the community. Two of the ladies that started it with me had worked in a pregnancy center. We were seeing, 13, 14-year-old girls come in with an unplanned pregnancy, and so we wanted to nip that. We wanted to nip that in the bud, and so we wrote curriculum, or they did, life skills. I don't know if I've shared this with y'all before, but life skills and risk avoidance curriculum. This is a middle school age curriculum. And it meets the Department of Education's health standard, but it's Bible-based, and it deals with just 8 lessons, goals. We're created for a purpose. We are here, human development, the stages of life. So we teach that we're created in the image of God. Life begins at conception, and it's precious all the way to natural death. The consequences, the emotional and physical consequences, and physical consequences of sex before marriage. Refusal skills, how to protect yourself, the effects of drugs and alcohol, communication. Most kids today don't know how to communicate. They're all on text messages. Everything's online there. And how to communicate. What messages are you sending? We talk about the media, the good, bad, the ugly. Most of us ugly. And also relationships, building healthy relationships, making good friends. Strong family relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, just making good relationships. If you know how to build a good relationship in the beginning, that's going to help your marriage later on down the line. And so we are excited about this. And we wrote this, our dream was to get into public school. Man, if we could get into public school, man, that's who needs it. What a great thing that would be. But we understood how hard that would be. So we have a lot of churches that use this. Youth groups have used this. We have a lot of Christian schools, homeschool groups. We have families that use this. We have 2 of our missionaries, our foreign missionaries, use the outline, the statistics and everything is for America, but the outline itself, they use it. And because Pathway, 2 years ago, we ended up starting a pregnancy center out of Pathway, and a lot of our volunteers. Some of our volunteers at Pathway are educators. For the last 2 years, we've been in public schools teaching this. We're in Texarkana, Texas Middle School. It's an after-school program. We teach this. We're in Texarkana High School, Texarkana, Arkansas High School. We teach a class during the day. I forget the name of it. I think it's different for every district. The in-school suspension kids, they're bad. They're bad. And I was a sailor, and I thought I've heard a lot of things, but anyway, they brought us in to teach that, and also looks like next year we'll be teaching at Texarkana, Arkansas Middle School, this curriculum. So we're in 2 public schools, we'll be in another one, and the best part is, since we've been doing this, we've had at least 35 kids make professions of faith. In public school, y'all. In public school. And so we are just excited about this. You're welcome to them. We'll leave you a copy. We have it on our website if you want more. It's good. And we found out that this is even good for high school kids, because we have high school kids today don't have a clue. They're not being taught basic biology. Everything they know about biology, everything they know about relationships and everything else, they get off the internet, or they get it. Like I tell them, only thing you know about women is what your idiot friends told you. He knows. That's how they know. They don't have a example. We were talking about this before church. They don't have an example of a solid home life and things like that. Well, here we just nip it in the bud. Everything you see on the news about all of these things getting into schools, about transgender and all that stuff there, all of that's by Planned Parenthood and organizations like that. They're out to destroy our families. This is how we fight back. And so we're excited about that. We asked for $10 donations, but God has blessed us. We just want to get it in every hand we can get. On the pregnancy center side, since we've opened 2 years ago this month, matter of fact, 2 years ago this week, we've seen about 200 women come through crisis pregnancy. We've led several of them to the Lord. We have baby classes. They come in, they learn how to be moms, how they can do it. They shop in our baby boutique. Some of these have been led to the Lord. Some of them are back in church. As a matter of fact, the very first client we had at Pathway, she had a little girl. And last year, my daughter-in-law babysit this little girl. And so it kind of come full circle. So it was interesting to see this girl when she first came in. To see her now, as wild as she was, she's got a job. She's off drugs. She's trying to raise her child right. She's trying to make good choices in relationships. And she's back in church. And so to me, that's success. That's a success story. And I'm just thankful to be a part of that. And everything we offer there at Pathway is free. And so and I have some information about that. All right, lastly, the human trafficking side of things that I do. The big thing I do is a Super Bowl outreach. Since I've started doing, first Super Bowl was in Tampa. The next one was in Los Angeles. The one in Phoenix, I wasn't able to go last year because my father passed away. This year it was in Las Vegas. Instead of going to Vegas, I was with a new organization, so I stayed home, and for the entire week, we were doing online intel. I would listen to jail calls, these guys calling people from jail, and we would try to find out who they call, because a lot of times these were pimps calling their girls, and we would track down these girls. We ended up, I'd go on every social media platform you could think of. I'd see advertisements and everything else to get information where these girls from, how the police could, the authorities could track them down. And we gave almost 100 solid leads to the police department, and I think six children were rescued in that week of the Super Bowl. And so since I've started doing this, the organizations I've been with, I think we've rescued almost 200 people out of human trafficking. And so on a local level, I've been trying to do outreach at the hotels in Texarkana. And hopefully next month, I'm starting work with a group called the Soap Project. And we go to hotels and we give out the hotel soap and makeup wipes the women use to remove makeup. We have the human trafficking number on there, and we go and just give these to these motels and try to put them in each room and things like that. And so I've done that for a couple different Super Bowls, but now we're getting more organized to do it in Texarkana. And so hopefully that'll be going next week. And so we just reach out to all these hotels, motels, massage parlors, and where all this stuff goes on, just trying to reach them. And also, there we'll be able to not only put the human trafficking number sticker on there, but also I have a QR code. I don't know the QR code. I don't know if this is. I have one I use and I travel around, and I have one for Texarkana, so I don't know what that is. But when you scan that, basically it takes you to pregnancy. It gives you pregnancy options. If you're a runaway, who to call. If you're being trafficked, who to call. Just different organizations they call. I live right behind Texas High School, so I've got a big sign up in my backyard right against the fence at Texas High School. So these students walk by all the time, and they see about Pathway and the pregnancy services and things like that. And so just excited about that, and I'm just thankful to be a part of a dark ministry, but one that's desperately needed. And human trafficking is the second. It's soon to be the number one criminal enterprise in the world. I think it's second only to either drugs or gun running. I think drugs have taken over gun running, I think. But anyway, so it is a huge problem. And also, I go to Israel sometimes. I was supposed to go in January, but got a lot of things going on over there. And got my water. And so obviously they're still in war over there, and it's basically a two-front war in the south with Gaza and with the north with Hezbollah. My friends are fine. We stay in contact all the time. The organizations I work with over there, they're coping as best as they can. I would love to go back. I wanted to go in January, and I kept telling Anita, in November, December, I'll go. She said, you're not going to go. I said, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be over with by then. It'll be fine. I kept saying, I'm going to go to Israel. She said, you're not going to Israel. I said, I'm going to Israel, woman. She said, you're not going to go. Well, I didn't go. And so I'd like to go back later on, maybe August, September. I really want to go. But I just have to pray about this because, I don't want to go because, obviously I want to go, but I don't want to go unless I can help. And also, their economy is really suffering because there's no tour groups there. I don't want to go and be in the way and take away anything that Israeli might need. And so, I'm just playing that by ear, but I'm just certainly praying for Israel and the peace of Israel. All right, so I said a lot real quick. Any question about anything? I'll answer any question you have. Yes, ma'am. Prayer sounds cliche, but it really is. It's a dark. That week after the Super Bowl, after seeing everything I saw online, Nita and I sat down. We cleaned everything off my computer, and I just got off for a while. I was burned out. I just saw stuff that it was just heartbreaking. Certainly the prayer and for my health. I was in the hospital a couple weeks ago, coughing up blood. I felt fine, except for the blood. And it's just I've got several nodules in my lungs, and it looks like at least one, but two of them have grown just a little bit. That they were pushing into some capillaries, and that was causing the blood to come up. And so I'll be probably doing some radiation. I'll meet the doctor again at the end of this month. Obviously, the funds for the trafficking outreach, for the buy the supplies, the soap and makeup and things like that, is and the soapproject.org. You can look it up and you get all the information there, see how you can help. But obviously the funds to travel and things like that, everything's getting so expensive, and I hate to bring it up because everybody's suffering. It's expensive everywhere. But just continue the outreach. But your prayers more than anything. Honest. Anything else? Yes, ma'am. I have one more, and I have several in my car. I do. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Do we have any other pictures? Just real quick. I don't know what else. I don't have much of a presentation. You can tell. Is that pretty much it? Okay. Oh, we went out to Vegas. This soap project I'm telling you about. They did a weekend outreach in Las Vegas, and so Kevin Ardner, my pastor friend in Freeport, we went out there, and the guy in the orange is the missionary out there. He just does a outreach ministry for the homeless, and this was 7 o'clock on Sunday morning in Las Vegas. That's me in the blue jacket. We just go out there and we preached, we fed them, and then we took a bus back to the building they're using for a church, and we had services there, about 50 people there. He's just doing a great ministry there. And Las Vegas is a dark city, and so that's just a picture of that. So, all right, I think that's it, right? That's about it. Oh, there's my beautiful wife. Yeah, that's Anita. This was last year. Our Pathway. We had a fundraiser for the Pathway, and so that's Anita. She's at home. She and I celebrated a birthday a couple weeks ago. My birthday, I was actually in Baptist Hospital, so I had dinner brought to me, breakfast in bed there. So it all worked out well, and so she's on spring break this week. If you ever find it, the wife find it a good thing, and she keeps me on the straight and narrow, and no one prays for me like she does, and I just thank the Lord for her. The older I get, the more I hate to leave home because. I told her if she ever leaves, I'm going with you, so I'm going to get ready. So I think that was it. That it? Okay. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're doing prayer now? Okay. All right, so that's again. Thank you so much. I know I talk fast. I say a lot. I'll be around afterwards, but I'm just excited. Hope you can tell. You know, I love what God's called me to do. Nothing in my background prepared me for any of this stuff. But I'm just glad. You know, I saw all this stuff. I saw the need, and I kept saying, "Boy, somebody needs to do something about that." My Lord, somebody needs to do something about that. And as so often, you know, He put His finger on me, and I thank the Lord for that. So thank y'all so much for your support and your prayers. God bless you all.